Ghana for this year dumiensa 13 ekopie mu okwasi buruni koko krom UK aburuchimem no manfa wiemu hye manfa plane na emom no omo ade omo cars ene etundura ene eye 4x4 cars bi V8 ne je wagon cars bi no mo di kwanso atrantwie na nyasem ketewa ma eno nam so omo fa Ghana ye borders ya no akofefa manfo manso fefe nsuo so ma eno nam so ma ne Ghana fo yatumi akopie mu UK Ghana fo bebre ne age. Yes, I'm my boss, so my yard, papa, so much to me put this records we Ghana ha. Now, over internet, you saw social media, you saw assembly Braman for Nabisa and they said, Osha map, you saw won't say map we a ball, Yantam apple, editor, so they had no to me call a yakwasi bruni koko kroma one fa a yeposo. Now, Osha a year video, yeah, that screen, you saw who said, Ebra no mo kono ehun hyehye ekwan so ama ne bo ana musonfo dan kwasi prince ye de ebra ono na osan ehwe map ye a o hwe ye a ubon se ebra ko mu free Ghana na amodi omani ewurawura mu amanfo bibi mama ntem so ewurawura mu akukọ Mali efefe mu asanko pie mu ewo chese amande omufa bebiri so na ukodu ba bi ti se Algeria ne Morocco a ukodu ba bi ti se ebia Morocco de nsuo eda ho ti se epo eda ho a o hwe video ye da o screen so abo hu se epo no ana eda ho a eye ship bi ni yi chese transport omo cars ni bi every eye asase omo wo so no ede etwa eye epo no enti definitely say omo twa epo ama nkrofo no kura nso Wanderlust Ghana nso akire mu se omutwa epo ana ede call London ho eti ohwe map yi a obohu se omakodu Morocco ho no obohu se bia aka ne enam no enenam emanche ho na aha no eyesi echese omutra eti aha no omo befa plateau anase ebia ship bia na niem ship bia esesa cars ni bi na ede atra enti no obohu se ship no ana ababesi ho na efa omukas ni bi o hwe wo screen so sa pepepe ana etia diagram no ana mosonfo dan kwesi prince ya ye ede amam se ne amu hwe ye no mo beti ase efisa amamfo bibire na bi sente chese breaking it down ede emamu enti ebro mo kọ no enkrofo ni kire mu a eteki omu 16 good days ana omu de koi 16 good days eti na chese enya akwantu oketwa kora eteki omu 16 good days ana omu ede koi enti no o hwe diagram na obo se after ensuo no na echese omu de use omu cars nti cars no ana enenam hwa kopiem sanko fa ensuo so na omu fa boat ana so omu fa ship bi no omu de atra kopim sai omu bedu London enti o hwe videos bi obo se ebra omu kono omu kwa kakra na echese omu fele omu fu ana so omu tank no mo ko no ma fele oba nso eka ho a na oba ba akopɛ Ghana fo ekɔ ye no me 13 sɛ nam di kan ekan no oba ba akopɛ ana na eka ho nti eye dumienu 12 ne de no mo ye mema nko a na kyese enye asem ketewa na asem bi ba Ghana fo bebre na twene sere ne abasa epe asem no emu ama ne bo emu nkyiremu kwan omo fa so ede kɔe sisi ene de enkrofoko ye atumi akopie mu ewo UK ama eno enam so amakwa akochia eye Ghana High Commission office ewo UK ho ene mpanimfo ne insenkyerefo nso atwetwe nkomo na ebra mo koye no omo kasa bebiri ewo omakwantuo no ho botaye ene ehwa na montuo a omo tuye ene kwan ya ne nyankopon nam so de oma bepie mo ewu yuka buruchimem na ensem de oma kan bi eja wadwo abusiafo yenya munsi ha na yenkonkotie enkrofo ne nsem ne bi emna omo ho ahusiesie kwan omo fa so eyeye na bibie ntumwie pe ba before ebekwe video no ede abanom mekanfo Zahara Man capsules ede ama se eba sexual weakness eni sisi yade dia akwaje Zahara Man capsules bi na fertility minua bema entra ho ema sisi yade enka ojonku emfa honto ho eyesa na chese wani betutu aka onsempa hindi hema mixture wo malaria typhoid ana diabetes o blood pressure no kosoro akwaje hindi hema mixture bi na bibie ntumi enkwanimu emfa mabusiafo open dudu atu a obetumi afre numbers na eda o screen so no sanso na mo amwo akirichi ne benche de okọ heba ne pharmacy stores ahonsa ebeka Zahara ndo bi na bibi atumi awie pe abusiafo ye hwe video ni bi emra.
This adventure didn't set out like this. It was a simple thing. We were trying to tick a few boxes of our bucket list, and somehow when we started, it gained a life of its own. It grew bigger than we ever anticipated it to. So along the line, we found a charity that we all believed in and decided to use all the popularity being gained to advance that cause because we are all benefiting from it in Ghana. Mr. Kwabena will tell you a lot more about the charity. But we are a group of friends. We do travel a lot. We've traveled the length and breadth of Ghana for the last 3-4 years. We have planned to do this trip as part of our bucket list sometime in 2020. And then COVID hit, and the doors were locked. We couldn't go anywhere. So during that period, we just ended up running around the country. We hear of a funeral somewhere, and we just go. Whether we know the person or not. Yes. we went around the whole country so many times. So the borders were open, and we rekindled that decision. Charlie, let's do it again. This my brother, when I say let's go, he says, Brahma Ekrado. Then we kick it. So we started talking about it again, the preparation, the research, and everything else we went through. I must say the Ghanaian missions on our route have been very, very, very supportive. They have carried us along everywhere we've gotten to. They've met us, hosted us. I mean, prepared. They just prepared the way for us. You know, so I would like to thank the Ghanaian diplomatic community for that. And we would also like to thank, there's a man here, Rainbow Race. Daniel, yes. Yes. Daniel, we don't know him anywhere. He just called us out of the blue that I've heard you're coming and I want to help you people through the system. Daniel hosted us when we arrived. He organized a welcome party. He's done so much for us, and I'm very grateful. I wouldn't want to talk too much because for now, our focus is on the charity.
Last year, some of us went to climb the Kilimanjaro. What it takes to climb the Kilimanjaro is far more than what it takes to sit in a luxurious 4x4 and drive to London. So generally, we are people who take our regular exercises serious. For this drive, we made time to stop. We had pit stops to buy fuel, to catch a snack, to stretch. We spent our evenings sleeping. We slept the average of 6 hours every night so that we'll be able to do the long drives we were doing. In planning, we spoke to people who had done the journey from Europe to Africa, a number of them, and the advice they gave us is priceless. It really helped us in our counter plan to come from Accra to London. So basically, a lot of planning, a lot of research, a lot of thinking has gone into this. That is why it seems like we've executed it flawlessly, but it's because we did a lot of good planning.
We knew we were going to travel through quite some trouble spots. Within the sub-region, there are certain areas where a few challenges are ongoing. And so we didn't have to draw any attention to ourselves that we were available to be taken for any reason. So first of all, from a security standpoint, we had to fly under the radar and get out of the trouble spots before we could start telling our story. So that's why we didn't make any noise about it.
Yeah, thanks. In terms of the challenges, I think the challenges in and of itself were some of the valuable lessons that we picked up. First of all, trying to coordinate 5 cars, and we started off as 30 people, is not an easy feat, right? It's getting to understand each and everybody and the value that they bring to the whole journey was critical. So I think those dynamics were some of the first initial things that needed to be smoothed out. So to be fair, not every one of us has been partaking in the funeral tourism or climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, right? So in coming in, we then have to learn how to adjust, right? So that first of all is the team dynamics. Then second of all is the reality. So talk about border crossings. So for me, that's one takeaway in terms of a challenge. And I'll juxtapose border crossings in Africa versus our experience in Europe, right? In Europe, we entered, at no border has anybody asked us a question about our cars. Nobody has asked to see any paperwork. And there's a phrase we learned in Africa. It's called card grease. laissez-passer. Nobody has asked for that. So the border crossing piece, I think, is a challenge. Entry and exit in our sub-region or in our region is difficult. It's difficult even amongst the ECOWAS community. It is difficult. So that's the first thing that we can do for ourselves as a people, is to ease movement. Once we've decided that these people are free to move, let's make it a reality. So border crossing is a key takeaway. But let's not look at it from the scenario of even the travelers. The people working at the borders and the facilities available to them need to improve. I will not mention the country, but in one of the countries, the health officer checking our yellow cards was sitting under a mango tree. The immigration officer was sitting on the front balcony of somebody's house. Right? That's the reality. Second is the infrastructure piece that I talked about. Right? So there's the good, then there's the bad. Now, roads. We are traveling by roads. So roads is the pertinent infrastructure that we observe. Where the roads were done, and in this case, I won't mention a country. So Senegal. From entry to exit, the roads were perfect. We paid tolls, and very expensive tolls at that, but none of us complained, right? So the willingness, I think, there's always a willingness to pay when the infrastructure is there. So it's worth investing in that infrastructure. When it is not good, it is a challenge. And I think that's why maybe, so if you take, and the Ghana leg was a bit slow. Accra to Kumasi. It was slow. Yeah. So Accra to Kumasi, anytime you think about that travel, you get stressed. But actually, once we hit certain countries and we say, oh, it's 800 kilometers to our next stop, we just do it. Right? So the infrastructure is another challenge that we will call out.
Abusiafo na Wanderlust Ghana ha ebra no mo ne nsenkyerefo ne Ghana High Commission yewura papa ankama anachese ne omo ene ne twetwe nkomo kwan omo fa so tu omanamo ntuo yi na eno enamso ene omatimi abepiem wo kwasi broni kokko ekurom ma eno akoye ne jesem dia ma Ghana no eho ama ne bona mosomfo dan kwasi prince de abramti no na chese enye wande asem kora na chese nsem ha chese oboa ho ema omo bo a certain amount bi wo mu a 870 Ghana cedi 70,000 Ghana cedi chese ogada ewo ho passport no document bi a chese utu akwantu wi na chese ensem eha na nkrofo no san chire mu se ebra no mo kɔ no omo san gi experience bi firi nkrofo bi o ma set sa record ni bi pen eti no na chese mo amo tete internet yi social mo de bicycle de cars ne taxi be kɔ no mo bedi mo dokon kwa mo sonfo dan kwasi prince e de eho ama ne bo e de abrintu ba no subscribe no share na busu na tumi akoso aye kesi ye frame dan kwasi prince nyame yadoma da se ne ye be send ye hye mu
Charistic Company Limited, the Zahara Herbal Mixture, ne Zahara G Capsules aba. Edrono to me tu enemu yare ahudo nyina ase. Efichikro mu haw. Awo a won to me wo, nipeduane mu yaw nyina, yem kro ene prostrate mu haw. Edrono so boama nemu akonokosro. Se upe edroi bietu anase upe se woni yedi nkita ho bia frɛ wa ho matrufu iso 0246 348 334 ana 0248 569 335 ubenya edroi so bia to chemical herbal and pharmacy shops nyina mu wo Ghana ha